Welcome back to another episode of the Scottsdale Vibes podcast. I'm your host, Alicia Haygood, starting at the table with Shawn Shackelton. Believe it or not, I got her out of a house, out of your car working, which I've noticed you've been doing.
Yeah.
And you're at the table.
I know.
Still real estate talk, though.
Totally.
Okay.
All day, all the time.
Here I go. What's going on? It's still a madhouse out there.
Yeah.
Flying off like fire.
Yeah.
How are you?
Tired.
You're like, how am I? I have to think about that.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I have a lot of feels for everybody.
Okay.
I mean, both buyers and sellers, because it's hard.
Yeah.
It's just hard right now.
It's frustrating. It's exhausting for every party involved, I feel like.
Yeah. I talked to a client yesterday that I helped get into a house probably a year and a half ago, and it was really hard then, and they were really struggling. And they had to push to the absolute top of their budget and, everything. And they got the house, and they're so happy. And
they're not trying to do it again, are they?
No, they're not. And I think about you a lot because I know how hard it was and how you guys were so close to pulling the trigger on that's it. We're not going to find a house. We're going to go rent.
Yeah.
And I kept telling them, just be patient. We'll find it. Don't go rent and waste all the money that you just made on your house on a rental. Just be patient. And she's like, I'm so glad we did.
Yeah.
Because they love their house, but she's like, that was so hard.
I had another friend that just worked with you, Shawn, and she came up to me and she was like, I'm going to be honest. Like, I'm kind of picky. I can be annoying. I can be demanding. And not once did Shawn be like, I can't do that. I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to show you that. She goes, she did everything to help me and accommodate me. And then they got a house.
Yeah, they got a house.
Because of that. So we work together. I love it.
Thank you.
What are we going to do? What's going on? Are we going to see a shift at all this summer? Because that's typically a slow season for Scottsdale real estate, correct?
It can be.
Although nothing in life is typical for the past few years.
I know. It can be in some areas. The luxury market, usually over $2 million sometimes, can get sometimes kind of quiet in the summertime. You'll see often some of those houses kind of come off the market because sellers just go, we're just going to take the house off the market for the summer. We'll put it back on, in the fall, see what happens. It's still happening a little bit right now, but not a ton because we just still don't have that much inventory. And I always tell my sellers, it doesn't really matter the price point. The internet changed the way that the buyers buy anyway.
Explain this to me because I think we've kind of talked about this a little bit off air. What you see on Zillow, Redfield, and all that is not actually an accurate price?
No, it's not actually accurate data.
Okay.
So I get people that send me, I have a client right now that they're sending me stuff off of Zillow, and they know, because we've had the conversation, they're like, I know that these might be wrong, but I just wanted to check. I'm like, absolutely, I'm happy to do it.
Right.
And I check, and I'm like, out of the 5 you sent me, there's only 1 that's available. And the four that aren't, they sold, and it wasn't like they just sold. They sold a year or 2 ago.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I mean, when I say it's not accurate data, it's really not accurate data. So
that's really bad. Okay.
It's hard, because, I mean, I get it that Zillow and Redfin and all those, they feel like an easier search tool for a buyer. But when you're not getting accurate data, it makes it really frustrating.
I agree. I didn't even realize that. Redfin. I said Redfield.
Yeah,
that's a school, sorry.
Okay.
And a street.
I know what you meant.
What are we still having a multiple 30 bids coming in a house? How's that going?
Yeah, we're still in multiple offers. We're still in well over list price is the one that gets it. We're, shortening inspection periods and waiving appraisals if you're financed. And I mean, yeah, it's crazy.
Okay. What's going on? Are we going to have more builds? Because I was talking to you earlier and someone else. We only have so much land in Scottsdale to build on as part of the problem.
Yeah, I mean, when you're really looking for something in Scottsdale, a lot of our land is already built on. Mm-hmm. So there is some state trust land that every once in a while they kind of release, and then a builder buys it, and then we get another, some other builds. But for the most part, what you've seen in Scottsdale over the last probably even 7 or so years, even before the last recession, in 2008 when it really crashed, we had what they call infill properties.
Okay, what's that?
And so people would buy an infill property, which is something within Scottsdale, not far out. They'd buy something in Scottsdale that was an old building, maybe old condos or old something like, and they would take it all down. And then they would start over.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I sold one on Cactus in like 96. It was a ranch. It had been there for a long time. Well, I sold the ranch, then sold the other ranch behind it, and then there were 2 schools. So they compiled all these things together, and now there's a new subdivision going in there that Pulte's building.
Yeah.
And so that's what an infill property is. And so that's how they kind of put pieces of land together to try to make it bigger so that they can build a subdivision.
Like more than one.
Right. But I mean, even with that, I think Pulte's only building 35 homes, give or take. So it's not like an abundance of, there's not hundreds of homes that are coming. And that's the real thing.
But there's hundreds of people coming, Shawn.
There are hundreds of people coming. I was just telling you that I went to over at Desert Ridge, Talon, over at Desert Ridge is this, new subdivision, DR Horton and Shea, they're building over there. And it's right on the border of Scottsdale and Phoenix.
Yeah.
And Shea's already sold out.
Done.
They're done. They haven't released all of them, but their list is so long, they're like, in essence, we're done. And then DR Horton, what they're doing is they have 6. They're releasing them on a quote-unquote soft release. They've said, here are the floor plans. You get no choice in any of the selections. We've already done that for you. Here's what our base price is. It is highest and best. You have like 5 days to go and look at them and send us your offer. We looked at one this weekend. It was at $1 million, a little over $1 million. I looked at him. I said, this was on Saturday. I said, how many offers do you have? He said, we have well over 30. I said, are you over $1.5 million? He said, it's stupid where we are. So it's hard. And, that just sets, and that's what I tell my clients, like that sets the precedence.
It does.
For the next release.
Yeah.
So great for the person that gets in because you have some automatic equity when they release the next, release. Hard for those people that are looking for that. That's the other thing I noticed over there at DR Horton. I mean, you've got a lot of 2,000, 2,200 square foot single level houses. As soon as you want, 4 or 5 bedrooms, you go 2-story and they've got 1 out of the 6 that they're releasing.
Oh, wow. That's not a lot at all.
Not a lot.
Hold on. I totally had a brain fart and just can't remember what I was going to say.
We're pausing.
I really did. I had a great question, and I cannot remember what I was going to ask you. Okay. All right. I'm going to have to pick up on something. It's going to come to me.
It's okay.
We have a lot of businesses coming in here. We're now one of the top places to move to and stuff like that. Is Phoenix and the outside area growing, and Scottsdale's going to be maxed out soon? I mean, because we still have so much to preserve that we don't have all this open land like you were just talking about.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing that I tell people about, again, because I get the emotional feeling of what this market is, and that's one of the things I talk to people about a lot. I know if you were in the market in 2008 and you're in the market now, it feels very similar.
Right. You've said this to us. It's not.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, just because of the numbers, because of the way that the loans are being done, because we have more equity in homes right now than we've had since like the 1980s. So people don't have like limited amount of equity in their house. They have more than 60% equity in their house overall. So I mean, for all intent and purposes, people are sound in their house financially.
Nice.
Are there some that aren't?
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, I get people that tell me that, like, well, those people that took out money out of their home equity line of credit and they're going to be upside down. Could there be some out there that did that? Of course.
It's not a perfect market.
But for the most part, because I was in the market then, and I know what people were doing. They're not doing that right now. They're just not. So we have very limited land. So when people are looking for, well, where else can I buy, but I want to be in Scottsdale, it makes it really challenging. So sometimes you do need to go into Phoenix. Like if you look at our urban sprawl, we are going into the west side, Santan Valley. Yeah. All of those areas where they can actually sprawl and get out.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of the new construction is booming. And that's kind of the push-pull right now with everybody saying, well, we need more inventory, we need more inventory, we need more inventory. As interest rates rise, sellers are a little bit less apt to put their house on the market because they've maybe refinanced into a really low interest rate. And even though they want to move, they think, well, why would I sell my house, go into a bigger interest rate, a higher payment? So unless they've planned for all of that and know that regardless their their house payment's going to be bigger, and they know what that looks like and they're okay with it, it's kind of stalling some sellers from selling.
Okay, because that's exactly what I wanted to talk. They did raise the interest rates to 4 right
We're
now.
We're over 4.
Okay.
On Friday, I want to say it hit 5.
Did it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know where it is today.
So what's that going to do to the market? Will that slow it down some?
That's the question. I mean,
Okay.
I intuitively, you would say yes, right?
Okay.
But we just don't have enough inventory for the amount of people that are moving here.
Okay.
Because as you said earlier, we've got so many jobs coming, and they're good jobs. So our affordability's a little,
Off.
it's a little off, but we still have people that have the cash or they have good jobs and can afford the homes, so they're coming and they're still buying.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, I mean,
insurance.
that's the big question of how high do interest rates have to go before people really kind of put the brakes on. And I think they're going to have to go higher. And I do think that interest rates are going to bounce a little bit.
Okay.
I just do. And understand, this is one thing. So interest rates started rising before the Federal Reserve actually raised our interest rates. The mortgage companies start raising the rates before that to kind of hedge their bets because they don't know how high they're going to raise them. So they kind of start doing that. So that's what's happening right now.
Okay.
The Federal Reserve has only raised our interest rates so far one time.
Okay.
But mortgage companies are raising the rates, and they're kind of, and that's why we're going to start to see it bounce a little bit.
Okay, that makes sense to me. Yeah. Well, go contact Shawn. All her clients love her. Like I said, my friend just used her and was so incredibly happy with their house.
Thank you.
You really do care. You take the time. You were working out of your car this weekend.
I was.
You were trying to find Wi-Fi.
My phone would not become my hotspot. I think I was in a bad spot. I had to drive. It's like, I just need to connect to somebody's Wi-Fi.
Just really
I need
quick.
this contract to go out.
So there's nothing that will stop you. I love that.
Nope.
All right, well, contact Shawn Shackelton. Shawn, share your phone number with us. They know where to find you.
480-734-7277.
You can always find her at the Shackleton Group. Thank you so much, Shawn, for joining us, and we will talk to you next month, hopefully in my new house.